Welcome to the Today in History channel. In today's video we will talk about the day, May 8, 1429. Joan of Arc conquers Orleans. The conquest of the throne of England in 1066, in the famous Battle of Hastings, by the French William, the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, started a secular conflict between both kingdoms. Over time, the kings of England took over several of the greatest duchies in France, Aquitaine, Poitou, Brittany, etc., who became vassals of the Gallic king who lived in London and formed a rival empire. France's attempts to recover the lost territories precipitated one of the longest and bloodiest strife in human history, the 100 Years' War, which caused millions of deaths and the destruction of almost all of northern France. After the Battle of Azincourt in 1415, nobles from Armagnac and Burgundy vied for the Kingdom of France. There were then three France: Normandy, Picardy, Ile-de-France and Aquitaine, under the English sovereignty of the Lancaster, Burgundy, Champagne and Flanders, under the sovereignty of the Bourguignon, and, finally, the Kingdom of Bourges, by the Dauphin Charles, excluded from the succession in 1420. After the death of Henry V of England, of the Plantagenet dynasty, who took over the regency of the English kingdom was the Duke of Bedford, brother-in-law to the Duke of Burgundy. Desiring to expand his territory, he besieged and occupied several cities in the Loire. It is then that Joan of Arc intervenes in the history of France and Orleans. In her appearances, the voices she said she heard told her what she should do. The detonator of the process was the Anglo-French siege of the city of Orleans, in October 1428. Joan of Arc sought Robert de Baudricourt, commander of the Armagnac garrison in Vaucouleurs, to request a small escort and meet with the Dauphin in Chinon. For that, she had to cross hostile territory, defended by the Anglo-Bourguignon. On April 29, 1429, Joan arrived at the siege of Orleans without encountering resistance from the English. A day later, she gave them an ultimatum, to which they responded with insults. On May 7, the Maiden of Orleans led a violent attack, but was wounded by a gunshot to the shoulder. However, Joanna was opposed to being removed from the battlefield, and attacked again, taking the city across the bridge, as she had predicted in the morning. She asked that the following day a Deo Gratias Mass, thanksgiving to God, be celebrated. When it was over, the British withdrew and the siege was lifted. From then on, the course of the war would take a definite turn. The degree of military leadership that Joanna d'Arc came to exercise continues to be debated. Traditional historians argue that, above all, she carried the banner and had a great effect on the soldiers' morale, although her official companions considered her to be a successful strategist. Others argue that Joan led the army to a series of victories that changed the course of the war. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.